Scalpers, yep, they're still here and they still suck. Just to give you a rundown of everything that's happened so far, back in November of 2020, the Scalper story really made headlines when people realized a single group can snag upwards of 3,500 PlayStation 5 consoles. Crap Chief Notify made plenty of headlines because of the volume of next-gen consoles, which are now current-gen consoles, that they managed to scalp. On top of that, they kind of bragged about it online on social media, saying that they have no regrets over all the scalping that they've done. And then, not long after, days later, they announced that they had accrued 2,000 additional PlayStation 5, saying they're finding it easy. Soon enough, we started to see people online showing off the fruits of their labor, if you will. Just mountains of PlayStation 5's in storage that they had scalped, that they plan to resell on eBay and other similar gray markets. And on eBay, you can see right now that prices are still pretty ludicrous. Scalpers have had quite the success. In fact, according to a report from back in December of 2020, it was reported that through eBay alone, scalpers around the world have made roughly $28 million in profit by selling these next-gen or current-gen consoles. And a total of over 60,000 systems were sold through eBay, and then another over 60,000 on another online marketplace, StockX. So just in these two marketplaces alone, over 120,000 next generation or current generation consoles. Simply ridiculous. Things have gotten bad enough that UK politicians have called for action against PS5 and Xbox Series scalpers. So this has raised the eyebrows of legislators, and we'll see if they take appropriate action. That finally brings us to today. Over the last couple of days, we have heard even more scalping stories suggesting that things have not gotten better. It's been months since the current generation consoles have launched. Just supply is still extremely low, demand is still extremely high, and scalpers continue to take advantage. And so right here we have a report from Video Games Chronicle from January 19th, 2020. The headline reads, Scalper bot firm claims it secured 2,000 plus PS5 orders from Game UK today. So the thing about scalper groups is that there isn't just one or two. There are probably tons of them out there. And if each of them are securing thousands through bots, I mean, that's where we're getting results like over 120,000 PlayStation 5 and Series X's sold through eBay and StockX. And that number, no doubt, has only gone higher in the past couple of weeks. And so scrolling down here, you can find that the retailer that was afflicted is UK retailer Game. They made a new batch of PS5 stock available on Tuesday morning, but the console sold out in under 10 minutes, and social media was quickly flooded by users claiming that they'd managed to secure dozens of orders using a bot software called Carnage. So scrolling down here, you'll find information on this Carnage bot. The social media account of Carnage bot itself bragged that its users had successfully logged over 2,000 checkouts at Game. Indeed, if you go to Carnage's Twitter, you'll see right here over 2,000 checkouts successfully logged for today's game restock on the PS5. Just keeps getting easier every time. So on top of ruining people's prospects of getting these consoles at retail price, MSRP, and bringing some joy to their lives during a rough time, during a period when there's a pandemic and, people could use any distractions that they can find. They're bragging about this. This is what scalpers do for some reason. They show off. They don't even express any sympathies. And scrolling down through Video Games Chronicle's article, you'll find other people bragging as well. People who, through Carnage bot, secured tens of PlayStation 5. So the Kick Hustle here says, first time running Carnage bot, 10 times PS5 secured. And then scrolling down here, you got JJ who says 10 PlayStation 5s ordered, confirmed, etc. Apparently, CarnageBot was first launched in September of 2020, typically targets limited items such as footwear and Disney merchandise to resell for profit. Obviously, their priority shifted when they realized how high the demand was for the new generation of consoles, and a new generation only comes every 5 to 7 years, so Scalpers were prepared for this one, especially during a pandemic when video game sales have drastically increased as people are looking for ways to entertain themselves as they're locked in at home. Carnage also bragged on social media about how its members have made hundreds of thousands in profit from reselling PS5 and Xbox Series X consoles since they launched in November, both limiting the supply and also limiting people's ability to buy these consoles at a more reasonable price point. Only people who have money to spare, essentially, can afford the scalped PlayStation 5s, which are being sold roughly on average for like $1,500, essentially. And the difference between $1,500 and $500 for people in the working class, for example, like that's a major difference. People who would buy PlayStation 5s for $500 may not be able to afford the console at $1,500. I mean, just to put it in perspective, buying a PlayStation 5 for $500 versus $1,500 means you'd have $1,000 left over to purchase games with, and at $70 a game, you can purchase roughly 14 PS5 games, and that's assuming you don't purchase games that are cheaper or on sale. Scalpers create an environment where you essentially have to be this rich if you want to get a PlayStation 5 at this juncture. And you've got facilitators like Carnage who design these bots that are then put out to the public, and you know, these businesses are starting to get pretty big. With how much more popular online shopping has become versus brick and mortar shopping, scalpers are thriving more than ever as bots get more sophisticated and smarter. They're able to circumvent the basic security of some of these websites, and now we're getting to a point where, you know, bots are just taking over. And while a majority of consoles sold have gone to legitimate customers, doesn't change the fact that bots haven't had a negligible effect. They're having a substantial effect, hundreds of thousands of these consoles. It reads right here, websites often try to block automated buyers like these, but bot designers have overcome mitigations by routing traffic through various other computers before ordering items. And the end result is that plenty of people, you can see right here screenshots of people showing off and bragging, plenty of people have managed to secure a bunch of PlayStation 5s very easily with very little effort. Now there's an update here from the retailer Game, and they provided the following statement to assure people that they're going to look into this. So a spokesperson said PlayStation 5s continue to be in very high demand, and that demand far outweighs current supply. We have strong measures in place to help ensure that our one per customer statement is maintained to allow for as many individual customers to successfully purchase as possible. All pre-orders are subject to automatic checks and order updates such as cancellations. Following these checks take place after a customer will have received a valid order confirmation email. At the present time, these orders are still pre-orders, and as such, no payments have yet been taken from customers. Payments will commence once our order checks have been completed. So they've implemented this pre-order period essentially for a product that's already out in order to secure the orders, then check them before fully confirming payment. But my question is, you know, what measures do they have to actually detect whether mass purchases were made by a single user or by legitimate customers, given that these bots are getting smarter? No doubt that there are ways for them to circumvent. I mean, it says right here, bot designers have overcome mitigations by routing traffic through various other computers before ordering items. So how do you distinguish whether an order was made by a customer or by an individual who routed traffic through various other computers to make it seem like these orders came from different customers? You know, it kind of feels like Game is out of their league here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have some way to actually identify bots versus actual customers. But given the volume of scalping that's happening right now, and given that preventative measures don't seem to be working, you know, it's just kind of creating the optics that retailers just don't seem to be prepared. And guess what? Right around the same time, infamous scalper group Crep Chief Notify also bragged about how they managed to accrue hundreds of PlayStation 5 consoles, and they put out the following statement: another day, another £400 profit per console. Where else do you see that kind of return. Don't want to miss out? You can get involved too, whether it's for profit or looking to secure one for yourself. Join now via the link in our bio to get involved. So they're using this as a means to advertise themselves, to promote themselves. And it doesn't end there. Another scalper group, Express Notify, made headlines after IGN got information from sources talking about how the scalpers used a loophole to buy stock before it was live in the UK. So it reads right here, in the early hours of January 26th, PS5's were back in stock at Argos. Now, it was obvious that stock was going to run out fast, but apparently the stock lasted for a much shorter time than expected. Not only was the site buggy alongside the app, but there was also supposedly even less stock than expected on the already limited supply of consoles. And then, of course, it didn't help matters that scalpers came in and swept these consoles from customers. Now, in this particular case, a large facilitator was the fact that the retailer's website, their purchasing system, apparently had a loophole that this group Express Notify exploited. So it reads right here, individuals were able to order PlayStation 5 consoles from Argos on January 25th, a full day before the aforementioned official stock drop. This was down to a loophole discovered by scalping group Express Notify, a paid-for Discord server that shared links allowing users to buy the PlayStation 5 before the general public even knew about the new stock. Express Notify has been publicly taking credit. Indeed, they have. If you go to Express Notify's Twitter page, you'll find this post from January 25th, 2021, always creating and innovating, perks of having great in-house developers. This is in response to somebody who utilized the Scalper bot to great success, stating posting success on behalf of a user because the loop goes too hard. Express Notify's Argos PS5 checkout link generator. Thanks for always having the most innovative tools and systems. The scalping situation is bad enough when stock actually goes up on time without any exploitable loopholes, but when orders go up before the general public was informed it will go up, and when scalpers are able to discover these loopholes and they're ready to pull the trigger on these purchases, I mean, I don't suspect that many of these Argos orders went to legitimate customers. I suspect most of those orders did in fact go to scalpers, given they had essentially a 24-hour head start, and they can already purchase these consoles faster than any human could. Now, IGN reports that Argos did shut these rogue links down quickly, but not without several consoles being sold and even collected from Argos outlets beforehand. There hasn't been any confirmation of how many PS5s were claimed before the loophole was closed, so it's hard to say how extensive the damage was. But the situation wasn't made better by Argo's own incompetency in the handling of renewed PS5 stock. So according to IGN, to compound the issues, those who were attempting to buy legitimately via Argos in the early hours of the morning weren't exactly given a head start. At first, stock appeared to be available on the Argos app, which repeatedly dropped for maintenance, but not on Argos' browser-based website. However, even success with the app was seemingly entirely dependent on your area and whether it wanted to play ball in general. Some users reported success, others said the money came out of their account without a confirmation email, while many more were left without a console once again. So on top of letting scalpers in 24 hours before customers were told the consoles would go online for sale, when customers try to buy PlayStation 5's, legitimate customers, they faced all kinds of technical issues with the purchasing process. And so Argos really dropped the ball here. Argos did provide a response stating, we identified a technical issue which allowed a small portion of customers to place orders early. It's clear our customers are excited for the new PlayStation. We released a small amount of additional stock and have seen huge numbers of customers trying to place their orders with us, and we have now sold out. The question is, how many of those customers were scalpers that Argos missed? How many were actually legitimate customers? There aren't a lot of these current-gen consoles out there. There are only so many millions of PS5s and Xbox Series that have been manufactured. And so hundreds of thousands within those few millions, that's a huge chunk. That is a sizable percentage. That isn't some negligible number. It's not just a couple hundred, a couple thousand. We're talking about hundreds of thousands that have been scalped. there's clearly an issue here, a lapse in proper security measures, and a lack of regulation. You know, the fact that they can so publicly brag and advertise about how they grifted customers, that doesn't sit right with me, and I don't think it sits right with many people. So I don't know what needs to be done by the companies, the retailers, and the seller of these consoles and platforms, but they need to figure it out. But that's just one man's opinion on this whole situation. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on PlayStation 5 scalping, if you've been able to secure a current gen system, and how hard it was for you, and how you think the world should handle scalping, what needs to be done to mitigate this problem. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.